Okay, we came over the hills from camp, and we're headed on a downward side of the valley to what looks to be a clearing. We're following this path, this worn path. You can see where the path is worn through the grass, and that is the path we're following. There's a deep impression there. We'll have to take a look at that. That may be nothing. There's an area just up here where it looked like maybe a deer or an elk had laid down. Great, I just gave away our position with a sneeze. And we're going to head down to this clearing down here. Chris is finding some pretty deep impressions in the ground that may or may not be anything.
Well, this is like a heel. I don't know. It looks like a left foot. It kind of claws right here.
Maybe a heavy animal coming down the slope here would leave some pretty deep impressions in the hill. It's possible this could be some type of print from a deep impression, either climbing the hill or coming down the hill. Yeah, we're back down the slope that we were following down. It's 1036. We came across a possible 9 inches. If it is a Bigfoot, it's going to be an adolescent. And you could see on the very beginning part of the tape measure, the toes outlined here and here, and the heel mark right there. I'm going to take a still picture of it. That's the still mode, just take a picture. You can see how beautiful the valley is.
Oh yeah.
Down here. It's really dead quiet. And this track, without any rain or anything like that, could be a couple weeks old, it could be a couple days old. Hell, it could be a couple minutes old. But looks like a potential, very potential adolescent track. Simply because of the formation of the toes, it seems like it would be a hominid human or possibly a Bigfoot, Sasquatch. We do know they travel in family packs from accounts we read about. We're scouring the dirt part of the hill here where tracks are easier to be seen as opposed to the matted down grass where you can only guess what came through. We're headed down to this open field here, this pasture area, to look for more evidence. Okay, we haven't traveled far. About 20 feet from the 9-inch track, Chris discovered a 12-inch track. Now you can see the moss here was pushed out of the way as the weight of the animal came down heel to toe, pushed the bed of moss forward. I'm going to take a still. The toes are somewhat discernible, but the heel is really discernible. Very good find on Chris's part. And we're going to keep traveling in the general direction. We think The animals are traveling valley to valley. They've come over the hill. They're heading down towards the creeks. They may be heading straight for heavy cover, as opposed to going straight into the pasture area. We're going to look in the pasture area, and it's very possible we just may follow its tracks down into the brush. Okay, we've decided the pasture may be the end of the line. If it were traveling southwest towards the valley, which where the creeks are, it would be going down into the brush here, as opposed to going through the open field into another hill. It would most likely enter the woods here. In the direction of the footprints, you can see the slopes are going down that way. And that's where we're going to go, into the dark brush. Here we are, we've ducked down into the canopy, and you can see this natural path going through the forest here. We think it leads to Jim Creek, and this might be the path that the footprints that we're heading in this general direction. You got scratching on a tree here. Could be a marker, could be a bear, could be nothing. We're going to head and follow this game trail, which is basically officially what this is a game trail, all the way through, and I think it's heading in the direction of Jim Creek. Okay, here we are following along the game trail, and we're coming across these fallen and broken trees. I know there's a lot of fallen and broken trees from the winter time, but this is a fresh one. This tree here was recently toppled, and you can see where these branches here snapped when this tree came down. Now, in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the summer, why is this tree coming down? And it looks to me, and I'm going to walk over there, that it was broken, pushed, not cut. And there's no reason to believe, since there's been a massive lack of rain in the last month, I find it hard to believe that this came down from high winds, snow, ice in the past winter, because these pine needles are relatively fresh. This came down recently. There's a fresh break right here. Bugs everywhere. Bugs, bugs, bugs. Coming across a lot of these holes. I don't know if it's from erosion, gophers. I don't know what they have out here as far as burrowing animals. It's possible, since the ground is kind of loose here, that this tree just finally gave away. But it still doesn't seem logical that this tree would have fallen on its own weight from the loose soil around it, but it's possible. The game trail kind of fizzled out, so we decided to go with our initial plan and get to the nearest water source to these prints, which is Jim Creek down in this area. We haven't got there yet. We've taken a little break. I've pulled my gear off to take a nature break and take a breather and report to, there's my Sasquatch research team hat that Steve got me. Take a little breather and report in with Steve about our progress. So, the breather's almost over, and we're going to push on to Jim Creek, hopefully.